What is up, everybody? It is Wick here. We are entering a rummage sale at Big One. There was an awesome Hot Wheels set right there for $5. I'm pretty sure it was complete. Could have parted that out and made some good money. Coming up here, we're looking for video games, good board games, and I see some sealed. I see Big Bang Theory there sealed. I'm not sure if that was worth anything. I see this Speak Out, which I go ahead and grab. When games are like $1 and they're sealed at these sales, I usually just buy them. There's a Star Munchkin that came out with it, so decided to buy that as well. Down under the table, there's a few items I grabbed. You'll be seeing everything in the haul part of this video. These rummage sales are chaotic. There's people everywhere grabbing stuff in the way. I tried to edit the footage to make it not as jarring, but I'm in a hurry. I'm rushing around. I'm looking, I'm jerking back and forth, so anyone who has motion sickness, if it affects you, I apologize. It's just the nature of these sales. And I'm just looking to see if there's anything awesome in these toys real quick that I recognize. Here's some sealed Lego Duplo sets, so $2 for that. I just throw it in the bag because why not? Sealed Lego, right? And it is actually pretty good, better than I thought it was going to be. Over here, we got loads of clothes, all stacked up. I really don't want to get into those right now. I want to come over here and check the men's hats. I see this box of hats down here, and I started digging through it. I'm looking for the big sports hats, the splash hats, all these, sports teams where the hats can be worth hundreds of dollars. I love digging through hats at sales like this because I want to find the most valuable and the coolest vintage hats. But I come over to this other table and there's another box of hats. And all of these are, they're like John Deere hats and farming hats, stuff like that. Unfortunately, it's nothing really old. I've talked about John Deere hats on the channel before. Of course, some of those can be worth hundreds of dollars if you find the right ones. These here, nothing very special. I'm looking through all these. I'm like, where is the sport? Not one sports team? Like, come on. And I keep pulling them out. I guess there's a NASCAR, if you want to consider that a sport. Cat hat, Pioneer seeds. And I just keep digging. I just keep pulling out. And yeah, this is good adrenaline for me, digging through a box of hats. Because this is one of those things where, if you're a reseller, you probably have actual dreams where you're digging through boxes like this, you find good stuff. But I just grabbed that whole stack of John Deere hats and throw in. I'm like, I got to get moving. These hats aren't great, but some of them are okay. At $1 a piece, International Harvester hat, I ended up grabbing that. So not a whole lot of clothing resellers here. Usually clothing resellers are hitting these hats hard. Not sure what's going on, but I find another box of hats. So I have to go through it. Trump hat there, some sort of fishing hat. Decent hats. I mean, there's even some Adidas hats there. I could have bought more than what I did, but I just didn't see anything that I really... I have lots of totes of just basic hats. One day I'm going to have a sale and just sell them all. Now, there's some guitars over there. They were priced kind of high and nothing special that I could notice. But I want to get over to the shoes because I know this rummage sale usually has a lot of shoes. And I get over here and I see, well, there's a lot of shoes. And I'm looking for good brand name shoes, obviously. I find some Ariat shoes or Ariat boots, some other things. But I see some Brooks Asics, $3 a pair at this rummage sale, so I want to be kind of picky. Usually when they're $1, I'm just grabbing, but I'll show you everything I got in the shoes there. But I see these pressure cookers. I'm like, no one's bought these yet. It's pretty late in the rummage sale. I mean, just a few minutes in, but that's a long time for a rummage sale. And yeah, I've already sold one of those. I think I sold it for $70, so not bad pickup at all. The electronics over here, there's a good receiver there. Unfortunately, at the time of the recording of this video is right after, not right after, but right when I was able to start moving around, basically, after my retina detachment surgery. Still had the gas bubble in my eye. So I didn't want to do a lot of lifting, even though the doctor, cleared the lifting restrictions. So the receiver, they're kind of heavy. I don't need another receiver. Over here is another unfortunate thing. This is one of those Bun commercial coffee makers. And these are about $300 pre-owned if they're working. And this one, probably working, is just kind of beat up. It was only 40 bucks. I'm like, I have to walk away from that. I can't be buying this stuff right now. Here's something I can buy, a KitchenAid coffee pot. So it was new in there. I don't know why I'm opening it. I just don't buy it. It's only $2. Usually I just, buy that stuff when I see it, when it's cheap enough. Got some knife sets here. Lots of pots and pans. Lots of people just trying to get through. A lot of pauses. And I know people don't like to watch these videos when nothing's really happening. So I try to edit them to keep moving. But yeah, I'm not getting down there. There's a massager down there too that was selling for like $60. It was kind of big. I had to leave that as well just because it's too big and bulky. And wasn't in the condition to deal with that stuff. I don't know if this was a caboodles case or not. Some of those makeup cases do okay, but they can be long tail unless you get the right ones. But if you do enjoy these videos, don't forget to hit that like button for me. It really does help me out. I do appreciate you watching. I did dig through those clothing, the shirts and stuff, but a lot of people had already been through them. I don't believe I found any clothing at this sale. Going back over to the shoes, want to take another pass. And I'm glad I did because I found some really good stuff the second time around. Here's some Brooks. I mean, these aren't anything special. I think I ended up picking those up. At $3, they're not terrible. There's some Nike shoes I believe I picked up. Not high-end stuff where they're selling for a lot of money. But when you can get them cheap, people will pay, 15, 20 bucks for them. As long as I don't have to do a lot of cleaning, I'll pick them up. Down here, I start seeing some boots and some shoes over here I'm checking out. Those kind of look like Doc Martens, the white ones, but they weren't. But here's some double H boots, and these are pretty good right there. Well, I ignore them and I pick up those, but I'm like, are these good? I'm like, oh yeah, these are double H. Probably a $50 pair of boots for $3 in great condition. So definitely grabbing those. There's a Mario plush I probably could have just picked up. I'm sure it's not worth much. Maybe only 50 cents for that, but taking one last pass at the toys before I leave. I did get some good toys at this sale. So happy to have found them and been able to dig. Anything else? Got some dinosaurs in here. Nothing particularly great. If I leave the sale, I head on over to Goodwill to see if there's anything, and end up picking a couple things up at Goodwill. Here's a John F. Kennedy cheap thing, not worth anything. Up here, though, is bubble vintage, kind of like a lava lamp. Fish float around in it, makes it look like they're swimming. Actually worth picking up. Paid $6 for it. I think I can sell it. Right now, though, it takes a weird bulb. I haven't been able to find a light bulb to put in it to get it working. I mean, it seems to be working. The little dial spins, it changes the colors. I just can't find the bulb. It's just a weird size. So hopefully I can find one. I'm going to have to check some other stores. Lots of pots and pans, but I didn't see anything name brand. But found some great stuff today. And let me show you everything I did get. Check it out. Here is my haul. Found some good stuff at the rummage sale and a few things in Goodwill. As you can see, this is one of those rummage sales where they had a lot of shoes that were cheap. Very hard not to buy them when they're cheap like this. I believe this one was $3, which is actually kind of high compared to some of the rummage sales. But first, we got a pair of these double H boots. Pretty nice pair for $3. clean them up a little with the Doc Martens Wonder Blossom, and they'll be great. Should be able to sell those for at least 50. I couldn't find this exact style using the style number search, but some similar pairs I saw sell anywhere between $50 and $100. Below it in the box, there's just some Ariat boots, low cut boots. The box is actually wrong. A pair of shoes it's supposed to be, but they have some toe wear. Again, a little bit of work, and I should be able to sell those for at least $30, right? Here's some Nike shoes, and these are pretty good if I remember right. Actually, all the Nike shoes I got today were very good in terms of, anything special. Seems like those were the best pair. I tried to put the better things on the table, and the stuff is like $20 or less in here. So I'm thinking those were about $30. I also got these Converse shoes, which might actually be new. They do have a little bit of black on the toes, but that happens just from bumping into things. I think I can sell those for $40. They seemed pretty rare when I looked them up. Also got some Brooks shoes here, which are pretty good condition, except for some dirt around the edges. And these are GTS 18s, so a bit of the newer style. So should be able to sell those for $25, $30, I think. I picked up these. I didn't know much about them. 808 carbon fiber shoes, and they felt like they're something more high quality. These Oxygens, I think they were called. Looks like I can sell them for about $50, so I'll give them a shot. I don't remember ever selling them before, that style or brand name or anything, so I don't know how they'll do. Here's just a pair of Under Armour hover shoes, again in good condition. I think about $30. Here's some Echo shoes, which are in very good condition, driving loafers. Echo is kind of random sometimes on prices on eBay anyway, so this style looked like it was selling for $40. They're very clean, so I won't have to put any work into them. And then over here, just in this tote, I threw some shoes. I got these Sorel women's boots, and I found these recently. I can't remember if I bought them. I can't remember if I've listed or sold them. I might have some listed already. So I just picked them up. I do think in this good a condition, I should be able to sell them for probably $25, honestly. You got some Brooks in there. You got some Nikes. You got some Asics, just stuff that I picked up that was in good enough condition for the price. Here's a pair of youth Nikes, which were selling for about $20. I don't buy youth shoes very often, but they're Nike, and they're in really good condition. I won't have to put any time into cleaning them. What else we got? Some LeBron stuff in here, which a lot of these Nike shoes, it's just hard to tell, right, if they're going to be worth anything. Now I could go, I guess, take everything out of my bag, grabbed everything that looked good, anything I wanted, and went and paid for it, took it out to the car, came back in, and just kind of repeated the process because the lines get really long at these sales sometimes. I just don't want to take up time looking at shoes. Anything I don't sell in here that might not be worth it, I'll donate, and then the money I paid to buy this, went to a good cause. So I just want to keep the cycle going, the money flowing. So these rummage sales keep going. Everyone wins in the end. But I'll have to do some math and give you an estimate on how much I expect to make on all these shoes. It's going to be some pretty good profit based on what I paid. I guess I can talk about these hats before I forget. They're down here on the floor. Always excited to see boxes of hats at rummage sales. Unfortunately, I just can't seem to score the big high dollar hats. You never see sports teams. I don't know what it is. These are a bunch of basically farming hats. I mean, I guess Cincinnati Reds John Deere hat here is a farming hat, but I think I paid $0.25 for these, 50 cents. Or a quarter, I don't remember exactly. Like, here's a Pioneer hat. Bunch of John Deere kind of basic hats. Some of these are vintage. International Harvester hat, which is pretty cool. That might sell for $15, $20. Here's a new with tags John Deere, like 50th anniversary. Milwaukee hat, which is pretty nice. Here's a Farmall hat, but I don't think it's that valuable. I don't think it's actually old. A lot of Farmall stuff, in my experience, hasn't been that great. Here's a John Deere racing hat. Might be worth $15, $20. At that price, I'm just picking them up. I grabbed a whole stack of John Deere hats. I'm like, what am I doing trying to look at these? Just throw them in the bag at the cheap price they are. I'll just throw out that, there's at least $50 there. Nothing very special though. Back up here on the table, I picked up this bubble. Well, it's like a lava lamp. It's some sort of lamp. You put water in it. There's fish. I looked it up, and one sold for $45, I think it was, plus shipping. And there's one listed new for $100 of this particular brand. Paid $6 for it, so there should be some money in it. Got these at the rummage sale. They were $10 a piece. They are National pressure cookers in very good condition. One of these even has the paperwork for it still in there. Both of them have an insert. I don't know if they work. I'm not going to test them or anything like that, but it looks like they'll sell anywhere between $50 and $100. I'll probably price them like 60 to 75, I'm guessing. It's kind of shocked no one grabbed these because a lot of people buy this kind of stuff. Look for Wagnerware and other similar items like this, and they were under a table, and it was about 5 minutes, which 5 minutes is a lifetime at a rummage sale because stuff gets picked up so quickly, so should make some great profit on them. I'm happy to sell them. Under this pair of shoes, it's just a pair of Wrangler jeans. They were 50 cents and they're new with tags, so should we just sell them for like 20 bucks, I'm guessing. Paying 50 cents. This is like $15 profit there. Here's this KitchenAid coffee pot I got. I believe it's new, paid $2 for it. Had to go back 3 years to see some price history, but one sold for $30 plus shipping, and another I think for $25 plus shipping. Currently none on eBay. I like to pick up these because I've sold them in the past. Sometimes I find them new. Somebody's going to be looking for a replacement. I'll probably price it either 25 or 30. I don't know. I'll decide when I go to list it. This is just a Pokemon plush. I got it at Goodwill for $1.99. Mostly I couldn't see the tag well enough since I had eye surgery. My eyes are still healing. But I saw that it was the Tomy, which they make some pretty high-end plush and vintage Pokemon toys. Now there is a Tomy plush, I think selling for $100, $200, maybe $300 when I was looking it up on eBay. It was a fatter looking one, different looking, but I still thought this might be good. Not really, it's a newer one. I didn't even know they were making stuff like this in 2015, I think is where it was from. Tomy anyway. I have a lot of Pokemon plush to list that I got last year, so I'm just going to list it with the rest of them. Here's a vintage Casio watch. Paid $3 for this. Some of these are pretty good money. This one was looking like about a $20 watch, I think. Maybe more if it's the one that the screen glows green. Here is a Things game. They aren't worth a whole lot. This one is complete. I opened it up and looked, but I was buying it regardless at 50 cents. If you remember in a video last year, it's actually only a few months ago, it hasn't even been a full year, but I picked up another Things game, and I had forgotten that these even existed from my childhood, so had to buy this one. I'll probably hold on to it because I think it's only selling for like $15 to $25 complete with the box. Here's a Dino Trucks. I decided to pick this up because I sold a miniature version of this guy. It was still sealed. I sold it on Amazon, I think for like 90 bucks. So I thought this one could be good. I mean, it was $1 is all I paid for it, so I just grabbed it up, right? I think it would have been worth like $30 or $40, but I didn't realize it was an RC and it needs a remote. The remote alone sells for $30 I saw, so I don't know if I'm going to sell this. I'll probably just donate it to a thrift store. But some of this Dino Truck stuff is worth big money. Just like the one I sold, you just never know with this stuff, so I grabbed it. Grabbed this as well for $3. This is a Brain Warp game. I've had these on the channel before. They're vintage, they're from the 90s. The last one I found, I don't know how many years it's been, but they were selling for like $30, $40. Now they're selling for more, $70, even $80 I was seeing some comments for them being used, so $3, pretty good. As long as it works, I'm probably going to price it like $70 plus shipping, maybe $60 plus shipping. Will be some great profit. This is a really cool find. This is a Little Playmates Space Station from '84, I believe it is. And this was only $1.50 and it's packed full. So I'm hoping it's actually complete. I did see a lot of the figures in there, but even if it's not complete, this stuff still pretty valuable. I know I saw just the satellite piece sell for $20 on eBay. I think this box complete I saw sell for $100. Another box maybe for $80. And I'm looking here and I'm seeing the missiles in here, which that's the kind of stuff that always gets lost. So pretty excited to see that. That'll definitely raise the value. And I think there's extras. I don't think everything in this box is actually, goes with the set. So if this is complete and there's extras, I'm going to make really good money. But I think just what's here, I'm definitely making at least $75, we'll say. Then we got a stack of board games and stuff here. I'll go through real quick. Wits In Pay $6 for this, brand new sealed. Sold it on Amazon, I think new for $40. Here's a Trump game. I sold one of these fairly recently, right before the election. Can't remember if I sold it for $40 or $50. Still looks like it's selling for $40 or $50. Vintage Trump the game. Here is a Lego set that I paid $2 for. Still brand new sealed. A lot of these on eBay, but there was only one. Actually, I don't think there was any listed that were still sealed. And the only one sealed that was on eBay had sold for, I think, $38. So $2, I'm probably going to price that at least $30. Here's a Star Munchkin game. Just got a bunch of other Munchkin expansions and stuff I'm just going to put with it. Might go in the board game collection. I'm pretty sure I have this in the board game collection, honestly, but I think it was like 50 cents, so it was hard to pass up. Then we got this Speak Out game. I'm going to have to train myself to remember that I can't sell Hasbro board games anymore. Amazon pretty much just stopped anyone from selling these unless you have invoices from Hasbro. It's a shame because I'm pretty sure I sold this for like $40 or $50 on Amazon one time. I've found this multiple times. Is Speak Out game with the weird mouth. Insert you put in your mouth, just a weird game. People probably get these for Christmas and they just like, I don't want this. I forgot to check eBay to see if it was worth selling on there, but it's a sealed game. I think I paid $1 for it, so probably can make some money on eBay, but I'm gonna have to quit just buying sealed games without thinking because I'm so used to doing that. Because usually I can always get, decent enough profit on Amazon to make it worthwhile. But I'll add up the estimated profits of this stack and throw it on the screen. There it is, everybody. And that is my haul for today. It's always fun going to rummage sales. Unfortunately, I had to pass some very large, bulky items. This big vintage massager that I probably could have sold for $60. Commercial coffee maker that was worth $300 to $400. That big Hot Wheels set I probably already talked about on the video when you first come in, only $5. Probably could have made $100, maybe $200 parting that out. It was in amazing condition and it looked like every single piece was there. But since I just had surgery and I'm still trying to recover, I don't need anything that big and bulky to mess with. Anyway, I'll stop ranting in this video. If you could hit that like button for me, I'd really appreciate it. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, flipping_junk. And this has been Wick. Until next time.